One of the other dangers that we have as a sign before the end of time, and if you put these things together about a human condition where you would have less humanity, you will have greed, miserliness, lack of knowledge, proliferation of ignorance, killing, then what you see taking place is the spectacle of killing. Like what the world witnessed when the Zionist Israelis were bombing from Siderat, watching from Siderat as Gaza was being bombed. And yet all the Zionists, they all came with their chairs and the popcorn and the chairs and the Coke, and they all sat together to watch the bombing campaign. You know, this reminded me what happened in Pakistan some years ago. Many years ago. I don't even remember the details of it, but I know that there was 2 boys in Pakistan. You might remember. Sialkot. 2 boys in Pakistan, yeah. I remember that. We all saw that on the news. All over the world saw it. 2 boys in Pakistan. I don't even know the story. I don't know the context, nothing, except there were 2 boys in Pakistan, and we saw this mob around them. And the police are standing, and everyone's beating them, and they're cutting them, and they're doing terrible things to them. That is a spectacle of suffering. And if you want to really understand what it is about, read Surah Al-Buruj in the Quran, because Surah Al-Buruj is a template. It is a template. It is to understand all of this. When Allah says, إِذْ هُمْ عَلَيْهَا قُعُودٌ وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ. إِذْ هُمْ, even this is one ayah, إِذْ هُمْ عَلَيْهَا قُعُودٌ. Just a few words. إِذْ هُمْ عَلَيْهَا قُعُودٌ. Allah explains everything in these few words. Allah says, when they, alayha, this is, Allah gives emphasis to exaggerate the meaning. The people who are burning these believers alive were not, alayha is over, it means on top of. They were not over on top of the fire, but the scholars, they say it means qaribun min amaliyat at-ta'dhib fa fi'l an-nar, that the perpetrators who were burning believers alive was so close to the fire, they were taking joy in seeing the burning of skin. And so Allah says, idhum alayha, when they were looking over, so close to the fire, because they were enjoying what they were seeing. Then Allah used the word qu'ud, and Allah did not use the word julus. And the difference between julus and qu'ud is, if you say ijlis, it means sit down, quickly, then get up. But qu'ud is different. Qu'ud means sit down for a long time, take your rest. Have a seat, take your rest. And so Allah says about these killers that they were over the fire walking, and they were sitting for a long time taking their good rest and watching the spectacle of human suffering. And that is happening again and again and again in our world. It happens in schools with school bullying. Now with the smartphone, they call this a smartphone. But what if the smartphone is in the hand of a dumb person? What if the person using the phone is dumb, even though the phone is supposed to be smart? Because if you're using the phone to capture the image of somebody bleeding, or somebody crying, or someone crying and being burned. When the smartphones came about first in England, you had a case of a homeless man who was sitting at the bus stop. And he's homeless. He has no home. And so he's sleeping at the bus stop because he has no place to sleep. And these 2 young kids, they came to him and they put petrol all over his body. Then they lit a match and they set the man on fire. And one of them is capturing the whole thing, laughing, grinning on the phone. And then what do? Stick it straight away on YouTube and Facebook. Let the world see. There was once upon a time people would feel ashamed of what they were doing. But now there is enjoyment. Enjoyment, happiness in all of this. Let the world see. This happens at a micro level and a macro level. It happens in schools, it happens in homes, and it happens in Pakistan, it happens all over the world. And this is a sickness. It is a mental illness. It is a sickness of the heart. If ever you could think there is some enjoyment to get in the pain of somebody else. Why? Because those bonds of us and them, or self and otherness, that's supposed to be joined, particularly when there's Muslims involved. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Allah says that the believers are brothers. Kullukum, all of you are brothers. And sisters, how can you let something like this happen? It means you've broken something, killed something in yourself. You've killed yourself before you've even tried to kill somebody else. And this is a tragedy. And so therefore you have a role. What is the solution for this? In any situation like this, 4 groups of people emerge. We have the perpetrators, the victims, the bystanders, and the rescuers. The perpetrators are the ones doing it. The victims are the poor people stuck in it. The bystanders are those who are just watching it. Either they're watching it and are silent, and that's a crime, or they're watching it and they're laughing and they're enjoying it. Like in schools when someone's poor kid's about to be beaten up, and the people around saying, fight, 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 fight. Egging the people on. I'll tell you something interesting. If you read the accounts of victims, they oftentimes say that the people we are most angry with are the bystanders, not with the bullies, because they have this propensity to do evil unto others. That's one thing. But the bystanders, we expected them to help us, but they didn't help us. There was a case in England. This Indian man came from India to see his granddaughter or daughter. And he came fresh from India, and he's in the tube, in the train in England, London. And the man is there with his daughter and maybe some other family members, and it's crowded. And you have these thugs, racist thugs, who start picking on the man. The man can't speak English, so he can't answer them back, and he's picking on him and laughing at him. Then they start beat him, and they're beating him. The daughter is screaming, asking for help, please, somebody come. Nobody's doing anything. You know what they're doing? And there was a picture from the other carriage. People from the other carriage are from the window recording it. What kind of insanity is that? It's like when the Prophet said, إِنَّهُ لَيَنْزِعُ عُقُولَ أَكْثَرِ أَهْلِ ذَلِكَ الزَّمَانِ. Most people will lose their minds. He said most people will have no brains. And that's why it will be easy for them to kill and kill and kill. That's why Sahaba, they asked this question. And so therefore, always be careful, be of those who rescue, be of those who help, say something, do something, come to the service of others. This is what it means to be insan, to be a human being. I don't speak Urdu much, hardly. I struggle to tell the man today to iron my clothes in the hotel, in Urdu. But I know something in Urdu. And this is, I know that one of the scholars, he when he was speaking to his students, he was saying to them, I haven't come to make any of you scholars. He said, I've come, insan ko insan banana. Insan ko insan banana. I know what that means. He said, I've come to make you humans. Insan ko insan banana. I've come to make you humans. If you don't have that humanity, where is the progress going to be? First, you have to find that humanity in yourself. You have al-hadith al-ula. This would be the first hadith that the scholars would teach their students for hundreds of years in the Islamic world. What is the first hadith? They would teach their students, Ar-Rahimun, Yarhamuhum Ar-Rahman, Irhamu man fil ard, Yarhamuka man fis sama. The merciful ones are those whom the All-Merciful shows mercy towards. Be merciful with those on the earth, and the one in the heavens, Allah, will be merciful unto you. Therefore, always have a path of mercy and teach that to your children. And if this was a topic on mercy, I would speak at length on this topic, but we have to move on. One of the signs of the end of time, the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that there will be إِنَّا سَتَأْتِي عَلَى النَّاسِ سُنُونُ خَدَّاءَ. He said there are coming upon the people years of deceit. يُصَدِّقُ فِيهَا الْكَاذِبُ وَيُكَذِّبُ فِيهَا الصَّادِقُ. Where the one who is honest will be disbelieved and the liar will be believed. People will believe the liar and not believe the one who is speaking the truth. وَيُؤْتَمَنُ فِيهَا الْخَائِنُ وَيُخَوِّنُ فِيهَا الْأَمِينُ. And the one who is trustworthy, they will say he is deceiving us, and the one who is deceiving, they will say that's the one who is trustworthy. Loss of honesty. People won't know who's honest anymore. Is a man speaking the truth, or are others only like these pretentious words coming from his lips. And in his heart, all he has is greed and malice, because there's no truth in what he's saying. When the people of Najran came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they said, Ya Rasulullah, ib'ath lana rajulan ameen. Send a truthful man back to us, to teach us, people of Najran. And the Prophet said to them, I will send to you, لَبْعَثَنَّ إِلَيْكُمْ رَجُلًا أَمِينَ حَقَّ أَمِينَ حَقَّ أَمِينَ. I will send to you someone who is truthful, and really truthful. And Sahaba are looking and thinking, maybe it's me. Each one is thinking, maybe I'm the real truthful person. And the Prophet sent who? Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah radiyallahu anhu. In one hadith the Prophet said, Inna fi kulli ummatin ameen. Every ummah has its trustworthy one. And the trustworthy one from our nation is Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah radiyallahu anhu. Once Umar was Khalifa radiyallahu anhu, and he was in a big gathering like this, and he asked the people, Tamanna, make a wish. One man gets up and he says, Tamanna, I wish this whole room was full of gold, and I would use that gold in Allah fi sabilillah. Okay, he sat down. Another man, he said again, make a